because after all the people of Australia should have a view. Thanks.
I think we have time for 2 more questions, if the panel would be so kind.
Well, I've got 3.
There's 3. There's going to be a fight.
No, let's have 3. We'll have quickly. We'll be fast.
Okay, we'll get short and sweet.
Well, first I'd like to say to Mr Morgan, I admire his strength of opinion, and I don't always agree with what you said, but you're saying mostly good. My question, my view is that we're ignoring the elephant in the room, as the saying goes. That our real problem is the question of human population. I don't want to be an old curmudgeon, and I'm not suggesting that that babies are a bad thing, but until we face this problem, everything is just tinkering around with it. And the carbon pollution and everything like that is a result of human population. Okay. And until governments start to face this, we're never going to get anywhere. We're just putting the evil day off.
There are many who agree with that. I don't think the China solution is a good one for Australia, but there are many who have that view, and I think there's a lot of work going on to look at how we will deal with each of our cities with a much larger population. Or are you talking about global population?
Global population as well, because what you said is only a part of the problem. The problem is
I think it's the reason, if I can answer that question, the reason I make the point about asylum seekers is that we have an explosion of global population, and of course the most important thing in the world today is lifting the standards of living of people throughout the world, and that needs steel, it needs bridges, it needs sewage, it needs roads, it needs everything that probably the Greens think is bad. And for that reason, I'm of the belief that that we can have a little bit more carbon dioxide in the air versus many more people living a better life.
Can I just give you... Can I just...
Yeah, next one.
I'd like to hold it the rest of the day.
Can I just say, while you move to the next person, 3% of people have mentioned that overpopulation is the biggest issue facing the world. Yep. The highest we've ever seen that is 7%, which was in 2010. Doesn't go to the fact as to whether it is, but that's what the people think.
Very good.
Does the result you get depend a lot on the way you word the question?
So much it doesn't matter. The way that the question is worded is incredibly important. And all I can say is that Gary and I argue enormously about every question.
So you're never biased about any question from your own?
Look, no.
From your own. If you think
that's why we argue.
Do you word the question to get the results you want?
Absolutely. If somebody, well, you know, if I wanted to get a particular question, it's a particular answer, it's really easy to get. You don't do it. Why would you do it? Our company would be in complete disrepute because it's blindingly obvious if it's a biased question, you know, and I've even had clients who've asked me to ask biased questions. And first of all you say, look, that's just not the right way to do it, and then they say, well, I just want you to. You go, look, we'll take your money, but when somebody comes back, and they will, and say, is that a biased question, I will say yes.
And I'm surprised today how strong Mr Morgan's views are, personal views. They're very, very strong.
That's all right. I take care of that. we have a whole quality assurance system. No, but believe me, when you ask look at the questions. This is really important. This is a really important question that you've raised. That's why we ask, what do you think is the most important problem facing the world today? There's no bias in that. If people say whatever they want. Now, Gary will look through it and find certain angles. I'll find other angles. But you don't bias it with your questions. You ask people, if an election were held today, which party would receive your first preference? You list the parties and you rotate the order so there's no bias. That's our skill. No point doing that.
Just to answer that question with regard to the paper I gave in Melbourne, in that paper, it's on our website, and Barry Jones wrote to me about the question we asked on a Republic versus Monarchy, and he said the question was wrong. And I suggest you look at our reply, my reply to him, and I said that to have a republic, you had to have an elected president. Now, people say that you shouldn't have the word elected president. But you can't have a republic without an elected president. Everyone tries to fudge around the issue. And you may think, I think it's important that people state their case and not fudge the issue. And I made the point, if I made one point today which is important, really important for Australia, it's time the politicians stopped fudging the figure on unemployment. It's time we woke up to the fact that there's nearly 2 million people out there who want to do more work. It's time we stopped having a cash economy. So the blue-collar unionist works Monday to Friday and then can't get double time in the weekend, so he works for cash in the weekend. We are fools to allow government to go over these issues without bringing to a head. That is why I have strong views on them. I'm now old enough to understand that we've got just as much dishonesty in government today on unemployment as we've had since the war. Nothing's changed. We need to get it changed.
Could I just come in on that? And I'm sorry, Michelle, did you want?
No, I was just going to make the point that we structurally deal with this issue. We have the facts. We write the Morgan poll finds this, and then we have a particular section called Gary Morgan Says. I think if the newspapers separated fact and opinion, it would be a better situation as well. But we as an opinion polling company definitely know the difference.
Actually, you do that very well. It's something that when I was at the Press Council we did try to encourage, that is the clear distinction between fact and opinion, and you do it very well on your site. There's just one thing I wanted to add. We are strongly opposed to a plebiscite, because a plebiscite is just a question. The referendum which our founders devised was taken from Switzerland, and it requires that all the details be on the table, all the changes be there before the people vote. Now, there's a shonky attempt by certain people, a certain group of people, called the Australian Republican Movement, and Republican politicians who are trying to get plebiscites up so that people will then be locked into a result. We say that's wrong, because any spin doctor can devise a question, but also we say this will create a period of instability, because if people vote one way, for example, they think, oh, this is what we want. They don't know what they really want. They don't know what is going to be offered later. They will regret that, and we'll have a period of instability. The British do this. That's how they got the people to approve joining the European Union, because the British politicians just throw any question that the spin doctors devise, give it to the people vote on that, and then the politicians fill in the details later. It's like a blank cheque.